Alright, response video to the Amazing Atheist under his TJ Does Life channel, or persona, that's what I'll call it, because they're all just personas, really. So anyway, the first half of the video he talks about this guy, thoughtful atheist. He makes some sort of cracks about how thoughtful he is, like it might be doubtable, questionable. Anyway, well, we could doubt how amazing the Amazing Atheist is also, so what the fuck is that point? Any of that crap anyway. But anyway, never mind. So the point is he's defending rape again. I mean, it's a serious subject. We should take it seriously. Serious subjects should be taken seriously. It's not something that should be just dismissed out of hand. No, it might have some actual value. Might be vital for the nuclear power plants to function properly, is if we have good understanding, a quality understanding of rape. Yeah, it's great, brilliant theory he has here. So anyway, I'll start halfway through a stupid video, because otherwise this video will go on to 4 parts, and we'll try to keep it just to 2, hopefully. So anyway, Teroja on the subject of rape.
And that kind of brings me to another point, because in terms of finding a successful evolutionary strategy to pass your genes on to another generation?
Yes, which we are totally out of that game. Since we invented civilization, okay, natural selection is no longer in play. We can do the selecting. We don't, but we can, okay? And we certainly want to select for people who display civilized characteristics. I mean, ideally we would want them to breed more. Obviously they don't. And so that's something we'd want to fix rather than something we would want to celebrate. We really don't want natural selection to fiddle around anymore with our civilization. We want our civilization to be kind of cleansed of that old paradigm of might makes right, where we now have brains. We can do better than that. Butthead.
Rape is a good strategy. Now, that's not to say that it's ethical or that it's morally correct. That's just to say that in terms of a strategy for passing on your genetic information, it is successful.
Yeah, well, the fact is, though, is it doesn't even work in most of nature. I mean, the females have the capacity to, shut it down, because they're not quite as ill-equipped as they are in our cultures. We've made women we've made them the weaker sex in a lot of ways. And in a natural environment, a male isn't going to want to even, he might be able to take a woman, but he's going to pay for it if he tries to. Because she's going to bite him, she's going to harm him. He's not going to get away with it for free. So rape would end up being murder often in the natural environment. So it wouldn't be a very good genetically transferring your genes strategy, because your genes are going to go nowhere. That's why I think genetically we have a lot of capacity to love, to cherish, to honor, to possess, to want to take care of women, is as a direct counter argument to the bullshit that you're saying, that sex dominates. Sex is powerful, but it turns into something else, okay? When the woman looks in your eyes and you see that love thing, that's what men want. They want that look in the woman's eyes. They don't want terror, they don't want anger, they don't want contempt coming back at them. There's nothing natural in that for the average male, for the predominance of the male species. So you're full of shit, TJ.
Which is almost certainly why it's still around, and has always been around, and is a human universal.
Oh, please. The reason why it's around is, yes, because males are made to be horny. And some males, some deviants, some small percentage of males have no capacity to understand their role in society whatsoever, no capacity to understand that women are human beings, no capacity to understand how to be a responsible beastie among the rest of the beasties, and they act in a rogue and deviant manner where they will do more harm than good. Obviously, like I stated, in the real world, in a real natural context, a male is not going to rape for free. It just ain't going to be no fucking picnic.
So if we take all those factors into account, what we have here is really a woman putting on a sexual display, trying to find a mate of her choosing, and instead of that happening...
Well, whatever. Yeah, women go out because they like to feel like they're worth something. Everybody does, except for you. Yeah, they don't want to look like a bum or a homeless person. They want to look attractive and pleasing, and they want to be interesting. And if this is a way I can make myself interesting is to look good, that's what people will do. So you want to turn it into some kind of, oh, there's flashing sexual signals and doing all this bullshit. Well, yes, some of that plays into it, but it's just part of being human, asshole.
A male chooses her, and if he is rejected, he doesn't take no for an answer. He is going to mate with her whether she wants to or not.
Right, and that's not the native inclination, I'm arguing. That's not even what evolution built into us. We have an innate respect for women's opinions, as I think especially under such circumstances, the average male, because it's just the way that our whole families, the way everything is protected against this violence that you think would run the show. And no, it isn't productive. It isn't in a genetic interest. Well, I'll let you continue to make this stupid argument.
Today, our moral objection to rape has a lot to do with individual rights and with empathy. You know, we see a rape victim and we say, oh, this person's rights were violated. This person went through a great ordeal, and
I think anybody knew that. I think they knew that 10,000 years ago. If their sister, or somebody's sister, came home all beat to shit, all right, and had been violated, yeah, I think they knew that something wrong happened. I don't think they just sat around and said, "Oh well, we're not sophisticated enough to figure out that any harm has been done." Bullshit.
We should have sympathy and compassion for them. That is our 21st century enlightened, perhaps, perspective.
Enlightened, perhaps. Yeah, like I said, I think they could figure that out. I think even 100,000 years ago, they could figure that out, all right? And especially when it came to their wife or their daughters, I'm sure they could goddamn figure it out, TJ. And I'm sure if you thought you were going to get away with fucking rape, you'd find out that some father or husband or brother would be on your fucking ass and rip you to fucking shreds.
The older perspective on rape is that if you have a daughter and she is your vehicle for your genetic legacy, you want to choose who she mates with. And
well, yeah, I mean, so that came with religion and came with monarchy, came with the class societies that we developed. But that's not 10,000 years ago. That's 4,000 years ago, or 2,000 years, or 1,000 years ago, most dominantly. But that's not that's not prehistory.
You know, throughout most of human history, parents decided who their children married.
Yeah, that's the nature. Once you get into these tribe things, okay, then the tribe starts taking control of things, whether the family's the tribe or or it's an extended multi-family tribe. Yeah, then the tribe bargains and wheels and deals. That's what people turn into: salesmen and pitchmen and game players and wheel turners. And so then, yeah, women got ground up in that. They got traded like slaves in that game because because they became part of property.
So, if a rapist comes along and rapes your offspring, then you had no choice in the matter. You had no choice as to who carries on your genes. It also perhaps precludes the possibility of your family's social advancement, because if you have a virgin daughter, you can marry her into a wealthy family.
Yeah, well, we know that the more likely scenario is the Romeo and Juliet scenario, right, where it's not rape that is the creation of this illegitimate child, but love that's the creation of the illegitimate child. So that's the predominant player, and you can logically, I think, figure that one out. I think you can also figure out that rapists in the long run, they're not going to survive too long. You start raping people's property, they're going to track you down eventually and rip your skin off. So maybe you might have a kid or two now and then, but you're not going to survive too long.
And increase the wealth of your own family. If a rapist comes along and steals her virginity, then she's now worthless as a bargaining chip. So I think it's fair to say.
Right, and she ends up with a bastard kid who probably isn't going to have much of a successful life. So that's also part of the scenario. So rape really isn't all that productive either for the rapist, for the woman's genetics, or for the child's genetics.
Say that in bygone eras, rape was probably viewed more as a property crime. You know, there was very little.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, I'm sure nobody loved their sisters, no husbands loved their wives, no fathers loved their daughters. No, it was just all, yeah, it's property. Fuck you, that's stupid.
Little in the way of empathy and, of course, individual rights throughout most of human history are just...
Well, big parts of human history where the law was controlled by the monarchs, by the capitalists, by the assholes, and it still is to some extent. And so, yes, the law wasn't too bright sometimes, but the people knew what the fuck was going on.
Something that most people wouldn't even be able to relate to as a